Now, the Human Rights Commission convened an inquiry today in an attempt to find a lasting solution to the issues faced by Alexandra residents north of Johannesburg. The residents of Alexandra have been protesting sporadically over the mushrooming of illegal structures and a lack of service delivery in the township. The inquiry will form part of the Commission's investigation into collaboration with the Public Protector's Office into the service delivery complaints that have given rise to these protests. Our reporter Nozintombi Miya attended the proceedings and joins us now. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Peter.
I can only imagine how difficult the work of this commission might be, but day one, what happened, what came through?
It certainly is a mammoth task for the Human Rights Commission because they have to get the voices of all of the authority figures that are involved. And it's not just the city of Johannesburg that needs to be held to account. It's also the Human Settlements Department, Kochta, as well as the Gauteng Premier's office that need to come to the Human Rights Commission and be held to account as to why the people of Alex are at this point where they're feeling so frustrated and so helpless over the situation that they feel that something needs to be done about the mushrooming illegal structures that are encroaching even further. You'll recall that Alex itself is a heavily congested township. So when more structures come in by land grabbers or so-called land grabbers, it creates even further difficulties for the people of Alex to navigate, to access services. It becomes difficult for the city to provide services to the people, services such as sanitation, emergency services. So it becomes a melting pot that's created a situation where the people themselves are struggling and authorities find it difficult to get in. And these are the key issues that the Human Rights Commission have to navigate through between now and the end of June as they conduct their work throughout this inquiry. So it's going to be a very difficult task for them, but hopefully they are hoping that they'll be able to get lasting solutions that will ultimately help the people of Alex.
Well, it doesn't seem too complicated. When you have a small area that wasn't designed for the numbers that are there, then the things that you're talking about will come through. And this doesn't happen overnight. People have seen this progress over time until people get frustrated. What voices did come through today and what did they say? So
today's proceedings, we heard from the city manager of the city of Johannesburg, and he was giving a detailed outline of the services that are provided in Alex. He spoke about the sanitation issue, which I thought was quite interesting. They provide chemical toilets to the families. And he says one chemical toilet provides access to 11 families. And he says that these numbers are quite higher than what would be in another township. And these are concerning for him because they're receiving phone calls from residents saying, there's only one toilet and there's 11 families that are trying to access the service, and you guys are not cleaning out these toilets on a regular basis. And the city manager was saying, they just simply don't have the capacity to be able to clean out the toilets effectively and as often as they would like, because their official cars can't access the area because people have built structures on top of the pipelines that are supposed to be used for the sanitations. They've built their structures on the fire hydrants that the authorities need to be able to access the water from. So they're finding it even more challenging to provide the services to the people because of the sheer congestion that is in Alex. And those were some of the concerns that he was raising in today's proceedings. But, in as much as these are the concerns that he raised, the Human Rights Commission, they weren't really sold on this because their whole thing is you're supposed to provide adequate access to the people of Alex. You are aware of the challenges, the structural challenges, the topological challenges that Alex faces. Why are you not putting in additional measures to deal with this issue? Instead of servicing the toilets 3 times a week, why are you not coming 5 times a week to service the toilets? Because you are aware of the challenges that are there. So it was quite difficult for him to try and explain the city's position.
And I would imagine a challenge that they face is there's the formal part of Alexandra and then this informal part, which, depending what day you go, different structures are in different places, and so one just doesn't know the numbers, and that makes it even harder for the city to plan for them.
You're quite right, Peter. And one of the other things that came out that was quite interesting is that the JMPD was saying that they literally are finding structures being built on the pavements. The structures are being built on top of already built infrastructure.
Yeah.
Not only is there a room in one plot, there's sub-rooms on top of that, and then there's the illegal structures in addition to that. So it's literally almost 5 families in one plot of land. And they are finding it extremely difficult, and they're getting resistance from the community because the community is saying, well, you can't pack up our stuff. Where else are we going to go? And I think it really is a key question of education and educating the residents of Alexandra of what their roles and responsibilities are as the residents of the area, and as well as officials also going in and saying, we are, officials, we represent the state, and this is our mandate. Our mandate is to remove you guys when you've built these illegal structures, but to remove you guys in a humane manner and to make sure that we have found alternative accommodation for you guys to be able to move your belongings to. And you're finding that that's the disconnect, and that's what caused the spark that led to the Alex shutdown that we saw over the past couple of weeks.
All right, and as you're speaking, this is playing out in other townships as we speak, and it's quite likely that if they see progress being made in Alexandra, that this might spark activity in other parts of the country as well.
Just in Rustafalville yesterday, over the past couple of days, the community of shack dwellers went and they built their shacks on a municipal piece of land. And the problem with that piece of land is that it's, it's an asbestos piece of land, so you can't build on it. And the community in the formal section is saying, well, these shack dwellers can't just bring their shacks here. They need to be removed. The red ants were brought in, and 2 people ended up dying as a result. But the issue is around the land grab. It's about land. Yeah. People want land, people want housing, and government is struggling to find a way to provide adequate housing to people. And we're finding that the Alex shutdown movement, it's just a drop in the ocean of a bigger issue that we are facing in the country. And government is battling to grapple with that, and how they're going to deal with that going forward really is the key challenge towards providing adequate services to the people. All
right, Nozintombi Miya, thanks so much indeed for an update on yet another inquiry. Thanks so much indeed. Thanks, Peter. All right, so that was Nozintombi Miya, who's been watching the Human Rights Commission of Inquiry into some of the issues that led to the protests in Alexandra Township, north of Johannesburg. And one suspects that this is perhaps just one piece in a bigger jigsaw puzzle that needs to be solved.